Good evening, good morning, wherever you are. This is Complete. Welcome you into this space for my very first show of Complete Collective. And I'm waiting for my guest, Greg Kruger, to join me. But while I'm here, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to be doing in these shows or in these episodes and these sessions. I'm going to be inviting different friends and colleagues. So watch out. I may be calling on you to have kind of inflow conversations, just to be ourselves, to show up as ourselves, to invite everyone into our space so that allow them to be themselves. So I'm hoping that Greg will come on soon. I'm just going to double check and see if I've got any messages from him. So in the meantime, grab yourself a glass of water, a cup of tea, yeah, and let's get in this space and get ready. If he I don't know how much he's going to be delayed, but in this time I'm going to bring us into center. So I'm going to give you a little bit of time. Go and get yourself a glass of water. I know I've been getting some messages just before I came on. What platform? Where are you going to be? So I'll allow some space. Yeah. So just breathe. And as we center ourselves, I'm just going to message Greg to see if he's okay. And I can't play any music. So just bear with me, those of you who are joining me, and welcome you into space for Complete Collective. Just waiting for my guest, Greg Kruger, to join me. And we will be talking about life scenarios. We were having a conversation just recently about taking steps in our life. And I was listening to a podcast by Lord Wally. You wouldn't know who he is, a UK Lord. And he was saying every step is a destination. And I was thinking, yeah, every step's a destination. But my soul brother, friend and colleague, Greg, reminded me that, aloha, Rick, good to see you. Just waiting for Greg to come on. Maybe you want to join me. So yes, so I was saying that Greg reminded me that it's a step forward doesn't all so a step that we've taken is not always meaning that we're going forward. Sometimes we take steps back, and it's about recognizing when we're taking those steps back, and not to beat yourself up. Life happens, things happen. We can only control how we show up and how we take that journey. So this is the conversation I want to have with Greg. Let me see what's happening. Right, nope. I hope he's okay. All right. You know what? In the meantime, I'm going to let's do a quick meditation, a quick centering, and setting our intentions. All right. Setting our intentions for the month of July. It's the 1st of July. Yes, it's my birthday month. My birthday's on the 8th, and so that's next Thursday. So hopefully we will be going live somewhere on a rooftop with some friends after I've been celebrating. So look out for that. And we have made it halfway through the year. This is when we see so many things happening, like harvest, things that we've sown seeds into. I'm going to admit today I was sitting in my feelings today. There were certain things that I wanted to achieve by now, and I hadn't, or hadn't, or haven't. What can I say? Haven't yet. And so I felt a bit low in that situation. But I know to sit with it, let it flow through, analyze it, Don't beat myself up. And I'm here. I could have coiled myself over in a duvet and say, I can't do this. But I am here. So I'm going to invite you all just to take a moment. Those of you who are used to doing meditations with me, I'm going to do introduce you to the 3 R's. And the 3 R's is release, regulate, and relax. And let me just put my phone on silent here, because people are asking me for the link. Okay, here we go. Sorry, apologize. Right, here we go. So the 3 R's is release, regulate, and relax. And so with regards to release, it's the breath work that I do before my meditation. And let me just demonstrate for you, those of you who are not used to doing it with me. So I use the Wim Hof, Wim Hof, the word has gone from my head. Oh my gosh. Method. Yes, method. And I've adapted that for the 3 R's. Okay. Hi, Pam. So what I do is I do a 3-stage breath. So into the stomach, into the heart, into the head. And with the release, all right, we hold whatever does not belong in this space in the top of our head. We hold it there. And when we release it, we're letting it go. We're actually visualizing it going and not being in this space. And then the regulate is a slower 3-stage breath. And then we release as if we're breathing through a straw. So then we're centering ourselves. Yeah. Bringing peace, calm, and tranquility. All right. And then we do the relax. And the relax is deep, beautiful breaths as if we're breathing with the sea. And so you can follow me when we do this. I'll demonstrate each one now, and then we're going to go in and do 3 each. And hopefully by then, Greg would have joined us. All right. So we're going to do the release. And the release is like a lion's roar. Okay. Really expelling that air. And then, as I said, the regulate is breathing through a straw. Yeah, you'll get the gist. So I'm going to demonstrate them just really quickly. So, stomach, heart, head. Hold that thought in your head. And then we release. Expelling all the air. Okay. Then the regulate is the same breath, bit slower. Stomach, heart, head. Hold, release through a straw. Then we go to the relax with a deep breath in. And release. Okay, so I invite you to do this with me. Okay, so remember when we're doing the release, hold any thought that's kind of restricting you, anything that's holding you back, any limiting beliefs. Like today I was saying to you, I was in my feelings. So I'm going to hold that thought in my head and I'm going to let it go. Let it go. All right. And then I'm just going to regulate, center, and then go with the breath. And I'll take us into maybe a little bit of a meditation until Greg gets in. And we'll see where it goes from there. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So here we're going to go. We're going to go with the 3 releases. All right. So stomach, heart, head. Hold the thought. Release it. Stomach, heart, head. Release it. One more of those. Really release it. Now for the regulate, slower breath. Release through the straw. Again. Release through the straw. And we're going to breathe. No more. One more. Release through the straw. Now deep breath in as if we're breathing with the sea. And release with a smile. Deep breath in. Release with a smile. I hope you're feeling relaxed, feeling that peace and tranquility. I just saw Rick Ely come in. And is he going to come back on? I hope he is. Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's see. Rick, thank you for joining me. How are you? Someone's asking, where has he gone?
Absolutely. Forgive me. Give me 2 seconds here. I'm going to even adjust my hat. So I'm going to adjust my hat. Okay. Putting on my captain speakers here. Aloha, beautiful beings of light. Complete.
It's good to see you. It's good. Oh, man. So good to see you. You know what? It's funny how life works out. You know, myself and Greg were talking and we were really getting ready for this. And so I'm just hoping that everything's okay. You know, so we're in flow. I'm welcoming you into this space because I haven't seen you for a while. You've done your move. And we're talking about, you know, counting our steps. And I know that you were climbing the mountain today, right? Yeah.
I did. I am so fortunate to be just surrounded by beautiful beings of light like you that keep me in step and pointed in the direction of what it is I want to experience. So grateful and thankful for you. And Greg, oh yeah, amazing human being, man. I was so pumped. I heard you were coming on with Greg, and I'm like, oh yeah, we got to do this, man. This is powerful, like superhuman beings coming together, like boom.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question. So while I'm asking you the question and you're answering, I'm going to check and see how Greg is or if he's, you know, check. But the question I want to ask you is that you said, and I was listening to okay. Let me tell him now. He said, am I on at 4 now?
Right now, man. Come on. I'll get out of the way, get him in here.
Well, I want to ask you that question. Yeah.
Okay.
So the question was, yeah, you said that you felt you had a fog. So even if Craig comes on, I want to, so he says he's coming. So I want to ask this question. So you said that you felt you had a fog, yeah? And then when you climbed to the top of the mountain, there was still fog. And then the video or the live cut out. And so I was feeling into your feeling and what was going on for you. And I was thinking, you were going somewhere to clear the fog. All right. So you went, well, I'm not going to say, maybe you can feel it. What were you thinking when you got up to the top of the mountain and there was still fog?
Well, the fog was like a blanket over the city. So and then at the same time there was on the peaks of the mountains, and so there I was. How was I feeling? I was feeling eye level with the eagle, and yet very very much uncluttered.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was that ascent into it was the action that I had to take to really move in that direction. It was actually action. It wasn't sitting on my ass. It was, I got to climb the hill. Why do I want to climb the hill? Well, I want to climb the hill that my body feels better so I can work into my body. This is my vehicle. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, and I'm landing in this body, and now I got this dude Greg coming in right here. I mean, if there was anybody ever to go to an iron that would inspire me to be more physical, my friend Greg Kruger right here, dude, the man. And I don't know anybody who speaks more clearly or eloquently about the passions that he pursues and lives out every day in what he does, and just as Komplete does. So you have got with you two of the finest human beings in my world, in my sphere of influence, that I allow to influence me. I mean, these are just on spot, on point, you beautiful beings of light. So Greg, I don't know what's going on with your camera,
I
but
have
you
to
got
say that you're misty.
Yep, clear the screen, get a little napkin, whatever you got to do, but don't spit on it.
Well, it might be. Hold on a second. It might be my. Give me a second. It might just be my screen on my computer gets fuzzy. Give me one moment.
Okay. So Rick, before you go, okay. So
Yeah.
many of I know that some of my clients and friends and whatever on this stream at the moment. I always talk about Pono Quest, and so I've invited a few, as you know, have joined. While Greg is getting his screen sorted out, could you just say what Pono Quest is, please?
Oh, Pono Quest for me is just it's my collective of beautiful beings of light, of people that are changing the world in a way that they're being the change that they want to experience. So it's been a very safe sandbox for me to build and nurture wholehearted relationships with people that are truly impactful. And for me, it's my friends. All I get to do every day is play with my friends, have a lot of fun, sharing the energy, and just be what truly be what you want to experience. And yeah, you take off all the filters and just be real. Come on home. You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. There's so much to it, but everything is relationship. And when you get down to what really matters in life, it's relationship, and you have to, it takes time. Yeah. And you got to nurture what you want to experience, what you love. And so Pono Quest is that for me. It's my family. It's my ohana. And yeah, thank you for being my family. I love you.
Love you too. So
All right.
I'm going to add to that. So Pono Quest as a family are impacting the world, but just by showing up and being ourselves and sharing our gifts, wholeheartedly. So check it out.
Yeah, absolutely, wholeheartedly. Look, you've got the dream team right here at your fingertips, and I'm going to bow out gracefully, and I'm so looking forward to listening and hearing and learning. Thank you. Aloha.
Thank you. Aloha.
Cheers, Rick.
Greg.
Hello. How are you?
Left me hanging. I'm good.
What's that?
I said, you left me hanging.
Oh, I had, man, I had, for some reason in my mind, it was 4 o'clock, and yeah, so I happened to, yeah, glance. My apologies, but you filled the time, yeah?
I did. I did. I hope I did it well, people. Did a little bit of meditation, wanted to center us in this space, and I spoke about why we were going to speak about mind, making our steps count. But before we do that, I just wanted to go back a bit on a little bit of our history and how we first kind of came into connection, communication. I think we were communicating on a platform with Brandon. Is it for over a year before we actually met in person? And I'm thinking,
Yeah, something.
how long we known each other?
Yeah, so that would make it like 3 years now, right? Or over 3 years?
No,
Has it
more
been,
than
is it,
three.
or is it?
It's more than 3 years because so to forget that the lockdown has been over 2 years. We went
Uh,
to Bali. When did we go to Bali? As the
I thought
in the
Bali
Bali
was 2 years, 2 or 2.5 years ago, I guess. So yeah, I guess maybe 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years. Okay, I
Yeah,
think it's a little bit
yeah.
longer, but yeah, okay. It feels like a lifetime actually.
I'll have to
I'll
look on
just
Facebook. Facebook will let us know.
okay. So I just want you to tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, and then we'll just get deep dive into our conversations. I did explain about the steps. Every step is a destination, and you kind of pulled me up on that one because we can either. I was thinking, yeah, steps forward, and then you said, we can always take steps backwards. So a little bit about yourself, and let's then go into the conversation.
Yeah, it's always interesting when people say, "Tell me about yourself," because I'm not really sure what they want to know. 46 years old. I'm in Indiana. I've got two boys who are 20 and 21. I'm the chief operating officer and founding partner of our company, Dream Nutrition. Where we started as a hemp-based nutrition company, but have some other extra supplements outside of the hemp space. But we really believe in plant-based medicine. So we have CBD products, CBG, various cannabinoid products, as well as some legal mushroom products. And that kind of is my mainstay right now. What my true passion is helping people. And when I look at how we can help people, I think there's kind of two ways to do that. We can do it in the physical sense, and we can do it in the emotional, energetic space. So Dream Nutrition is kind of my physical space of helping people, because what we put in our body does matter. But I think more so than anything, the emotional, energetic space is the powerhouse, and tapping into who we are. And so ultimately in my life, that will be my end game, is being completely 100% in the emotional, energetic space. After we take this dream to wherever it's heading. So it's kind of our baby, and we've been working on it for a number of years, and some good things going there. But so that's how I spend my time. I currently am loving adventuring and connecting with new humans, and have been able, fortunately, where I am, I've been able to travel around the United States in the last year and a half, and really make some good connections. And I just love adventure and travel and nature. So that's a little bit there.
I'm just going to sort of share a little secret with my viewers. So I can vouch for Dream, because I remember Greg sent me some pain patches to help me when I was, those of you who know that I did the Always advert, and I was worried about filming for 12 hours on set with a bad hip and a bad back. And I put the patch on, and I didn't even realize the pain. There was no pain. I was in flow, and it was just amazing. So just wanted to share that I can vouch, and for also the oil that you sent me as well. It kind of really centered me and brought me some peace and calm with regards to the pain management. So
Yeah. And I would say, well, thank you for that. And I would also say, I would say though, that your inflow and your energy probably was the biggest driver of that. And then the physical is the secondary additive, right?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So let's go. Let's talk about minding our steps. I don't know, some of you may have seen the cover of the show with Greg on a tree stump. Is it a tree stump you're standing on?
I think it was. Is it a tree stump or a rock? It might have been a large rock, but that was at Yosemite National
Mm-hmm.
Park, at the base of El Capitan.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of my adventures this last year in California.
Okay, so minding our steps.
Minding our steps. Yeah, where do you want to start?
Okay, so I was saying before you came on, yeah, I was actually going through a little bit of a wobbly, not because of this and panicking or whatever. I was in a bit of a wobbly of being in my feelings, yeah, and not being at a stage where I wanted to achieve certain things by now and I hadn't achieved them. So I was beating myself up before the session. I didn't tell you. I thought, let's talk about it here.
Yeah.
Live, direct, yeah. And I realized that even with the tears and the things that are going on in the process, I had to sit with it. Well, as we do, we sit with it, we breathe through it, and then we start seeing solutions rather than trying to suppress it. And I was expressing it with a friend, and she may be on now. And another friend said to me, well, we've been here before when we're in the dark night of the soul, or where our expectations turn out to be disappointments. It's how we move from here. What is the next step? How do we show up? How do we, I don't like using the word control. How do we use the pain of that moment in order to mobilize, to elevate, to make the change needed, to actualize?
Yeah. So to me, the first thing is to remember that the problem and the solution don't exist in the same space, right? So where do you want to be? How do you want to feel?
Well, I feel happy now.
Okay. So in regards to the context of the pain,
Yeah.
like how do you want to feel, right?
In the context with the pain, it was like, I'm tired of that pain. Yeah.
So okay. So how do you want to feel? Not how do you not want to feel? Because there's a big important filter that we need to understand. There is we either are moving towards pleasure or away from pain. So when I think about that, I think about if we're walking if our life is a linear timeline and we're walking into our future, we're either walking backwards because we're looking at all the things we don't want and we're pushing against those, and by looking at them, we're in the energy of them, we're in the energy of the problem, right? Or we can turn around, face forwards, and we can look to what we want to be, towards our pleasure. So I don't like, my very first coach was asking me, how do you feel about this? How do you feel? What do you want from this? What do you want from this? And we got to a topic on my dad. And when we got to, because this can change from context to context. So when we got to the context of my father and he asked about a relationship with my father, I said, well, I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this. And he's like, well, see there, in that context, you switched from what you do want to what you don't want. So that's kind of the point I'm making is, I think the first thing we need to understand is, one, feel the pain. It's there. Feel the emotions. The emotions are real, but the emotions aren't facts, right? But the emotions are happening and they're real. So feel them, understand them, and understand that as long as you're feeling that emotion, that's not the same emotion as the solution. So if you're looking to the solution and the solution is transcending an issue or becoming successful in a specific space, then if you think about how does it feel when I'm successful, how does it feel when I've reached that space, that energy feels way different than the energy of the problem. And so they don't exist in the same space. So for me, the number one thing is to be able to differentiate and say, okay, right now I'm going to feel this. I'm going to allow myself to be in the problem so I can understand, because a lot of times we can recognize how we want to feel based on how we don't want to feel.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can relate. So with Dream, for this time, Tua had built this company, and it took us, it was all our own money, and it was a lot of time and a lot of effort. And we saw CBD companies blowing up, and people that we knew making tons and tons and tons of money. We were taking a different route, though. The things that we wanted to do and the way we wanted to represent ourselves didn't put us in that fast track for the finances that everybody else got. And it's taken us a long time. And COVID, to be honest, has been pressure, to say the least. But we know we have some deals that we're working for that's going to change the trajectory of our company. But I digress to go back and say, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I remember Austin and I were talking, and at times he would be like, I don't know what we're doing wrong, because look at all these other people. What are we doing wrong? And I always had to bring myself back to the space that we're always exactly where we need to be, and we're getting what we need to get, and to bring myself into a place of appreciation. So I think the number one top strategy is to find gratitude. If it's not in this topic, then drop that topic and let's find a topic that we can have gratitude in. So maybe we weren't making the money that we thought, but and there were times, man, we barely made it by. And because of that, though, I created and have this bond and this friendship with Austin that's would not be there otherwise. We know we can trust each other. We've built this bond, and that alone is worth all of it. But besides that, there's so many other aspects like that, how we learn to manage priorities or business or finances, or create friendships and trust. And all of that has come as a result of all the things that we were, having pains with. So being able to focus on the appreciation of everything that was there, to me, was the thing that kept us being able to refocus to the next step. But having similar mindsets too, and whether it's meditation or conscious behavior or whatever, we have similar mindsets to where our dynamic and energy in the office can be really good.
I hear that. You asked me that, where do I want to be? And I said just, it's like that feeling of freedom. And I think that COVID in itself, where everybody has been feeling restricted, and where I was kind of traveling and doing workshops in different places, like in Ireland and in Barbados, and you know what I mean? And it's come to the point where it's like a bursting point. I know I'm grateful that I have been able to deliver meditations throughout whole of lockdown, and I've touched many people from the responses I've got from them. But I feel there's more I want to do. There's, that freedom to be able to travel again and to actually touch people in person. So I think that also is playing a part in that. And I miss my friends. I miss my family. I want to do our reunion. There's all those things. There's so many things that we've achieved individually, and I know that we can achieve as a collective, and it's looking forward to that. So maybe the impatience, I don't know.
So then the question is, why look forward when you can be, if we're talking about steps, the step right now is right here. Right? So looking forward to things, I think, is important, but there's a fine line between that and expectations. And there's also always remembering that the outside world, you've got the outside world and you've got your inside world. And either we let the outside world dictate our worth and value and happiness and freedom, or, we do it on the inside. I think Nelson Mandela was probably a super, key purpose, person who could show that, right? Anybody who's been locked up and knows that's nobody can touch that. Nobody can touch that but you. So therefore, if we're feeling in a space, I say this with a comma, that my lockdown hasn't been like yours at all. I don't know how I would be. I don't know how I would be living where you live, because my life wasn't affected a whole lot. Business was, but my
losing you. I think it's a bit of your signal.
There we are. Are we back?
Okay, okay, cool.
Yep. So my business was affected, but my personal life wasn't. And me personally, initially at least, having the outside world slow down felt great to me, you know. But I'm already a very, and I was coming out of a long, I was kind of like 6 to 8 months out of just kind of bringing myself back into the world, coming out of kind of a dark night of the soul type
Mm,
space where it was just a lot of alone time and a lot of self work. And then it all shut down. So that was a little bit of a surprise, but so because of where I was and how much time I was spending on me, then keeping that going wasn't really that hard. And I wasn't restricted to you. I could still come to work and I could still see family.
hmm I'm noticing that my colleague, friend, and sister Pamela is saying that she loved the lockdown. She is an author, and so she has spent a lot of time connecting, doing interviews, radio interviews. So she's made really good use of her time. I'm not saying I haven't. It's just I'm ready to get out there again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're switching how everything that you do is had to be transitioned and switched.
mm,
So
mm.
then my question would be, what's the next step? What's a step that you can take that's different? I don't know what your restrictions are still there, but
Yeah. Um, don't want to go down the road of the vaccine and taking it and not taking it because I've been down that road, that conversation before with Maitreya.
mm-hmm.
So and then there's been lots of divisions, lots of divisions in that, you know, some friendships and friends and family, like, you know, on one side or another. So it
Mm-hmm.
depends on how things unfold in the next few months. But what I am doing is I'm continuing with the meditations, but I'm bringing a new style to it. So on Saturday, and this is like just a Sunday, I'm gonna be doing Smile Sunday, where we just
Mm-hmm.
come and just, you know, like when we did the eye gazing
Mm-hmm.
in Bali. Yeah, so it's going to be like that. Yeah, but we're going to do it across Zoom and transfer energy just by smiling and breathing. And it's only going to be a 15-minute thing, so I'm going to kind of put little things in place. Also, there's some new programs coming in the future where we're using essential oils. So looking at essential oils for the energetic work and the healing work, along with the crystals. So there is
Mm-hmm.
things in play. Maybe I've got so many things happening, different programs. It's about rolling them out to making them happen, you know?
Is there
So,
anything else are there any other steps you can take towards feeling freedom?
don't know if I can say it here. I often,
Well,
I often,
well, okay,
I often,
we'll call that a
I often
rhetorical.
joke. I often joke about running down the road naked, but I'm not.
So, all right, so let's go back to I do want to have you finish that. Like, what were you feeling prior to this call that had you upset completely?
Um, Again, when you say, you know, when you first started Dream, and there's like the financial issues, or you know, you're trying to like get capital in, and you're kind of pulling from here, you know, as my mom would say, robbing Peter to pay Paul, and that sort of
Yeah.
thing. It's that kind of stage where you're juggling to get to that breakthrough,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what it is, you know. But it can't be avoided because it is part of the process, right?
It can be. Some people it's not. Some people, you know, it's interesting because we've seen some of the people in our industry who are maybe not the most in integrity and not the most in desire to put out quality products. And I'm not talking the coaching side, I'm talking the CBD space, right? Um, and we see those people with ease become
Mm,
millionaires,
mm,
you know, And that's where sometimes we had put ourselves against those people. It's like, what are they doing that's different than us? Well, we're doing what we're doing. And I think what we were doing is as a bigger overarching just thing. It wasn't just money focused, because maybe if it was just money focused, we wouldn't care about the quality, and we would have done differently on the financial side. So I think it was always important to remind ourselves that we're where we need to be, because if you're focusing on the juggling, I mean, the juggling's happening, you have to do it. But I told Austin multiple times, I'm like, look, man, we're either going to blow this shit out of the water or we're going to lose it all. Yeah. Whatever happens, that's we're being brought. All we can do is stay focused on the reasons and the purpose, the reasons, the why that we're doing what we're doing, and know that however the external world behaves, that doesn't get to dictate how we feel about what we're doing. And however, sometimes we have the worst thing happen to us. Bad and good are just judgments, right? So we have something today that I say, man, that's horrible, that's bad. And then a year down the road, we were like, oh my God, I'm so grateful that happened. So thankful. I needed that to happen in order for this to happen or this to happen. So now bad has become good. And all it is a difference of perspective. So if we just, it can be difficult sometimes, but if we can just hold on to the belief and the knowing that whatever we're putting out, we are attracting to us. And the hard thing to remember sometimes is, like with relationships and personal relationships, if we're attracting what we put out, then we're repelling if we're attracting what is like us, then we're repelling what is no longer like us. And we have a real difficult time as human beings allowing ourselves to let go of relationships, and we fight to hold on to everything. The ship's going down, hold on to it, hold on to it. The relationship's going down, hold on to it, hold on to it. We're fighting to hold on to something that the universe is saying, hey, let it go. Trust that. So to me, if I'm focused really on myself and my personal growth, my personal development, how I'm feeling, how I'm bringing myself into every interaction, if I'm focused on that, then I can trust that what's coming to me is what I need, and what's pulling away, even if it feels a little bit painful, is also perfect. And then the steps of the process are just that. Okay, I guess this is the next step.
Yeah. Okay. The 4 states of consciousness, that you brought up, and I recognized it because I learned about it in the coaching summit in 2020. I think it was, let me see, Jim Detmer, and he was Jim, and he was saying the 4 ways of being, coaching, and leading. So I wanted us to talk about that, because I found this was such a beneficial way of looking at how we're showing up in the world, and I shared it with a few clients. So I wanted you to just talk about it, and then
I think the first time I came across it was maybe, I love Tim Ferriss' podcast. That dude he's just such an eloquent interviewer and researcher, but has just amazing people on. So we had Jim Detmer on, and it was either Jim Detmer or Dr. Jim Lauer, who collects so many people's stuff, and then shares all the best of what he finds in the world. But anyways, we came to this 4 levels of consciousness, and most people have heard this before, where you either have the mindset that life is happening to me or life is happening for me. Right. So to me is that the outside world behaves however it behaves, and it happens at me, and I have no control whatsoever. I'm a victim. And then for me is kind of like I was talking about with Dream, in our trip with Dream, has been that whatever we're getting is for our benefit. The universe is bringing to us exactly what we need in this moment. you know. And so in our case, maybe it was the building of relationships and trust. Maybe in that there were other barriers being broken down within us that we didn't even realize. But to me and for me. But then with Jim Detmer, it was the first time I ever heard him say there's 4 levels of consciousness. Life is happening to
Lost you a bit.
Through me, or life is.
Okay, I'm going to repeat that because we're losing you. The signal is really kind of, yep, you're frozen.
Yeah.
You're frozen.
All right, so life is happening to me, for me, through me, or as me. And so in the post I recently made, I think I was really talking more as life is happening through me, right? Because one thing that I've come to learn with coaching is that coaches have areas of opportunity. Even the best coaches. I would say that Tony Robbins and all these big guys, you know, Joe Dispenza, everybody still has areas of opportunity. The most difficult part is that
we lost the signal with Greg. Hopefully he'll be back in soon. I was going to ask him to explain areas of opportunity, and here he comes.
I'm not sure what's going on with our internet here.
I was just about to ask you, as you disappeared, some people wouldn't know what areas of opportunity mean. I know what it means, but I wanted you to explain it to those who wouldn't know what it means.
Yeah, I'm a big one on words, and every word has its own energy, and every word has its own energy to each individual. I don't like the word weakness. I think that instead of weakness, I use area of opportunity, because I believe that every weakness is just an area that, if given the opportunity and focus, we can do. So if somebody says, Greg, do you play piano? I'd say not yet. But if I wanted to focus my attention to piano, I could play the piano. So it would be an area of opportunity. Right now I'm working on diet and what I put into my body. And so I've started this supplement thing for 30 days to check it out, because my personal diet, even though I work out hard and have all these other things, I still have areas of opportunity. And diet, quite frankly, has been an area of opportunity for me, because I've usually been able to eat whatever I want and think that I'm still okay, but I would like to optimize that, you know. So that's an area of opportunity for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, so instead of weakness, area of opportunity. I don't say the word struggle either. I don't like that, because the word struggle feels like I'm a victim, like I'm at the mercy of something else. So if I'm struggling, I use the words life situation. So I'm dealing with a life situation, you know, because I know.
Yeah.
Because I know when I face a situation in my life, I attack it, and so that I feel empowered versus victimized. So if somebody says, Kruger, how you doing? I'm having some, you know, facing some life situations. You know, I like to do that instead.
Okay.
But back to through me, as me, all that stuff. I learned that as I was coaching, I realized that the people that I was coaching and the things that were coming out of my mouth, which I had directed at other people, generally 9 times out of 10 had some relevance to something that I personally needed to integrate more, or to improve at, or to become aware of. And so I realized that the number one way to find my own personal blind spots, because we're blind to our areas of, we believe that we're right, we're good, you know. And so with that, we become blind to our areas of opportunity, our places where we could improve upon. But I found that when I'm giving advice or I'm coaching, that the synchronicity in life brings me the people that I need to tell the things that I need to personally hear. And I realized that through me, the universe is working to me. And that's been one of my best ways to determine my blind spots, is listening to the words and then saying, are those meant for me?
Yeah. I was going to say, there's been moments when I've been speaking to a client and I think, oh, yes. And I actually acknowledge it in the moment, you know, with my clients. I show up as myself with them. So as those of you who are listening, you will know. And then I'll talk about how I'm feeling about the experience and where I'm coming from and where I'm going to help them through their process. And we often laugh about it, you know. So life sucks sometimes. Oh, we can celebrate that we've come through this. Look at me, you know what I mean? And it is a powerful thing to do, to be able to self-reflect and acknowledge, as you say, the areas of opportunity and where we still have work, where we still get activated. So again, I don't use the word trigger, I use the word activate. So where we're activating those areas of opportunity, like, okay, let me step back. Let me just take a breath here and see what more I can do, how deep I can dive into that learning experience to expand my awareness, to be, and you know, the ASME, what I've got here, I've actually got Jim's things here. So if anybody wants it, there's camera. Oh, can you see it?
Yep.
Yeah. So I was just going to share the through me that's here. So I cooperate with life happening. So the posture is the co-creator. The experience is, as you said, allowing flow, wonder and awe. I love that. Wonder and awe of life. Beliefs. I am the source of all meaning. I am experience. Things are perfect, whole and complete. Life handles all apparent problems. Yeah. As you said, life situations. And then the key question is, what wants to happen through me? The benefits are non-attachment, unlimited possibilities, plenty of everything.
Yeah, and there was something you said. Oh, wholeness. I don't have it in front of me. 15. I referenced it in my last post. The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership, and Jim Detmer was one of 3 authors on that book. And one of the big things they talk about is integrity. And what is integrity? Integrity is wholeness, right? And I think that's probably one of the biggest obstacles or situations that people face is, what does really integrity mean? And are they being in integrity? And with integrity comes vulnerability, and being able to be in front of people. Hold on a second. Being able to be in front of people and note to them your areas of opportunity. That's hard. That's an ego shot for a lot of people. So I think that's one of the biggest steps of getting to that life is happening through me, is to be able to be in integrity and say, like you said, oh my gosh, this is what's just coming up for me. And in this space, I'm realizing these deficiencies or these areas of opportunity or whatever, and you know, and be in integrity, because I always say that, you know, if we have a destination, like if somebody wants directions to my house, the first thing I need to know if I want to give you directions is, well, where are you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you in the next state? Are you in another country? Are you north of me, south of me, east or west? That's going to have a direct effect on the directions that I give you to get to your end goal of my house. So then if I have a personal goal of getting to whatever my goal is in the moment, let's say improving my diet, the first thing I got to do is say, well, where am I? Like, really, Greg, where are you? Well, I'm not over here. I'm a little bit lower. I'm a little bit further, you know, because then from that point, then I can get directions into towards my goals. And so that integrity piece in what you read there, I think is super important.
That word integrity. It's when I think about the word integrity, I think about the 4 agreements, and those of you watching, I always talk about the 4 agreements when we're being impeccable with our word. Yeah, but when we're being impeccable with our word, I always add our thoughts and our feelings, and being impeccable with our word to ourselves first, as well as other people. And I think that the integrity part is not beating yourself up when you not fail. The word's not fail. What word would you use to fail?
Well, so
When it's highlighted to you that you're out of integrity, sometimes we kind of really come down on ourselves really hard, and we could be out of integrity because, and again, we're taking it into context. It could be an external situation that then pushes you into a place of being out of integrity. How would you manage that?
how do I manage it? I admit it. I admit it. As soon as I have something where I respond in a way that's out of integrity to who I want to be, out of alignment from who I want to be, whether someone is owed an apology or whatever the case may be, I manage that. But I think even failure, though, I mean, we're going to jump around through here, but failure is a tough one too, because we start with kind of a blank brain, right? And we learn things, and we learn things through experience. So now, every time that something comes up to me, we respond to external stimulus, right? So now a new situation or new opportunity comes up, external stimulus presents itself. I make a decision, the best decision I can, using this computer, which all it does is go through all of my past history and say, this has happened and this has happened, this happened, this happened. So I use all my past history against my current stimulus or stimuli to make the best decision that I can. Most times it's a brand new situation. I've never faced this situation. So all I can do is the best I can with stuff that I've used from the past. And so then when the outcome isn't favorable, we call that failure. We create shame around it sometimes, or we allow ourselves or choose to beat ourselves up over it, when in fact, how you didn't know. All you did was face new stimuli, bank it against old information, and make your best decision. So that's why I'm saying, if you're operating from good energy and the best that you can, then you just do the best you can. And when it doesn't operate as you expected, you learn. One time you put your hand on a hot burner, and then you didn't do it again. Because you didn't know. You're a playful child, and oh, that's red and that looks cool, and then you touch it and it's hot, you burn yourself, and then you realize, oh, that was a bad. That child doesn't sit and beat themselves up and blame themselves and have shame around their mistake. Their little brain just processes and notes that equals this. So failure.
And you're frozen again.
Anyways.
Childhood.
How long? What's our total time? How much time do you think we'll go? Because I may try to set up a different computer if I have to.
Okay, it's up to you, because I want us to be here an hour, and so we've been maybe just say
45 because
35.
I was late.
So it's up to you. It's up to you.
I'm good.
Okay. I'm okay. So before we move on, you said about childhood, yeah. Childhood and adulthood. So as children, we are innocent, we play, we accept things as they are, we don't hold on to things, we're not looking at we're looking through that lens of everything's okay. It's funny, let me just give you this. My children now, my son and my daughter, my son's 23, my daughter's 22, and we were coming home from a family event, and they were talking about the children that are playing at the barbecue, how they just got on with things, and they were the ones that were like, how do I look? What's this? What's going on? Whatever. And they said, wow, we didn't realize how much fun we had, how much freedom and and lack of responsibility that we really had. We were looked after. Everything was given to us. If only we knew then to really enjoy that time and that moment. And I thought, wow, wow. You know what I mean?
So yes, you cut out a little bit on me. I cut out on you, and I was
Okay.
trying to see if I can bring this up on my phone
Okay.
instead, but I don't know if the StreamYard will open this in Safari.
While you're doing that, I'm just going to have a look at
Yeah.
any comments.
Open this in Safari.
Okay.
Oh wow, I'm hearing a delay there.
While you're doing that, I'm just going to have a look. Yeah. Oh, let me just take that down. Right. Right. Okay. Right. Are we going through the childhood? Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to read the ASME. So life ASME. So
yes.
You know, we didn't go through To Me. Shall I go through To Me and By Me so that people who don't know about it and then so they can see what we're talking about, resonate. So when life is happening to me, the posture is victim. The experience is blaming and complaining.
Hold, I'm changing. Can you just so you know, I'm going to switch over. So we might have.
Well,
I just want to. I might end up with some feedback or some.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you, everyone, for bearing with us here in my poor
we love
internet.
You. And we appreciate connection. You.
Okay, so am I?
Yeah, there's a little bit back. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Now, all right. Now, go ahead. Continue, and let's see. If
oh wow! Wow! Crystal clear. And I can see how much the hair has grown from this one.
Oh, look at that, huh?
Yeah, isn't it?
It's getting there.
Okay, so I was saying I was gonna just for the benefit of those who don't know about the 4 ways of leading, you know, or the 4 states of consciousness, I'm gonna go back to me, just read through those and by me, recap on the through me, and then I'd like us to talk about the as me. Yeah, is that okay?
Yep.
Yeah. So to me, so life happens to me, all right, and then you have this triangle where you're either the hero, the victim, or the villain. All right, the posture is victim, so experience is blaming and complaining. The beliefs are there is a problem, someone is at fault, someone should fix this, and the key question is quite often people ask, why me? Whose fault is this? Yeah. And the benefits experience. So it's experience is separateness, drama as entertainment, adrenaline high, supports empathy towards others. So what do you feel about that? Just real quick.
Oh, I think it's spot on. I don't have anything to add there.
Yeah, so the triangle is sometimes when you want to be the hero, you want to be the savior, and then then you're in the victim state, and then sometimes you can be the villain. You can be the villain in that situation, and how do we can address that by looking at ourselves. How are we showing up in a situation if we want to go to move through to the next state? So the next state is by me.
It's important to remember the victim villain. I mean, you have to have one to have the other. Yeah. So, but I think the biggest thing is anytime for me, in my last relationship, which was 6 years ago. So, I didn't realize until I really spent the time processing my stuff how much I was in a victim space, because this particular person did have behaviors. I don't think our behaviors are who we are. Our behaviors are what our current energy is. And the energy that she was in, she had behaviors that were really not kind. And I spoke of those a lot. And that was my story, the pain of that and the things that were done. And even though they were done, the fact that I was telling the story about them and that was my story of the relationship, that was a victim. That was a victim mentality. And from that, I couldn't get free. I would have never been free if I can't maintain that. So that's a good example. And being able to call ourselves on our bullshit. Like I said, we have to be able to say, where are we? Like, where am I in order to get to my destination? And I find it exciting. When I catch myself being a victim, I get excited about it. I don't beat myself up about it. I'm like, I got it. I found you. And now I'm changing this. Because like if we're trying to solve a problem or trying to solve a riddle, we get excited when we find the solution. Well, what if the solution is admitting that you're being a victim and it's time to move on out of that? Then why can't we get excited about that? I get excited. I don't feel good if I let somebody down or make a mistake or, do my best and have a bad outcome. But I allow myself to get excited at the learning opportunity from it now. Yeah.
Would you? I'm going to go to the F word. Forgiveness. Forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Did that play? I lost you.
Oh, what just happened there?
I don't know. Maybe because I used the F word.
I don't know, man. Weird.
So forgiveness. How did that play a part in you moving from victim mentality?
Is everything. Forgiveness is not condoning. Forgiveness is accepting and allowing and moving past. I forgave her for her behaviors because I knew it wasn't in her true energy. It wasn't the truth of who she is. And I knew it was representative of her programming. And programming, that's a whole another 10-hour conversation. But I knew it was the result of her programming. And she had a lot of abuse, a lot of not good abuse. Not good abuse, pretty severe abuse as a child. And so I always held that as an allowance space for me. When she would act in certain ways, I would realize that it wasn't about me. It was about her. It was about her experience and her programs, the same as it was for me. Because what I had to realize, I had to look in the mirror and say, okay, dude, you're attracting this into your life. What am I doing? How am I attracting this? And at the time, I would ask myself, okay, she's cheating or physically and verbally abusive, and I'm not doing that. So how am I attracting? If like attracts like, how am I attracting that? And what I realized was when it came to the context of intimate relationships, I was external. You either derive your value and self-worth internally, you know it, you have it, you've developed it, you understand it, or you develop it from the outside. You get it internal or you get it external. And when it's external, it's a victim mentality. You need the outside world to behave in a way that values you. So I used to do everything for my partners, like help her build a business and do all these things. And I love doing good things for people, but there's a fine line between doing it without expectation and doing it with expectation. I didn't realize that I was doing it because I needed my partner to think I was just awesome. And then I felt like I was awesome. Right. So what I found out was, how am I attracting this? Well, I'm getting what I put out. So the truth is my energy is external. I'm living in an energy where I require the outside world for me to validate me. So this opens up a whole nother topic of the giver and the taker. So I was the giver. And so I was external. I served the world so the world would like me. And she was external in that she needed the world to serve her to feel valuable. Right? So two external energies, the giver and the taker. Both. That's why I made a post a long time ago about healthy giving. I was not giving health in a healthy way, in a healthy energy. I was giving because I was lacking in giving myself that. So then back to forgiveness, to bring this circle. I just allowed myself to be there. Like, okay, that's where I was. I don't know. Forgiveness is such a tricky word, but I allow myself, I think it's allowance, it's acceptance. Like that's where I needed to be. And then ultimately, recently, like within the last month or two, I had known for some time and been talking about how much I appreciated that relationship because I love who I am today. And that relationship was single-handedly the most pinnacle thing that happened to me that made me reset every part of who I am. I was so crushed that I said I could not do this again. I'm changing everything. And I talk about that, how much I appreciate that relationship. And then one day I was thinking to myself, man, I should really reach out and tell her. I should really reach out and express that and leave that and smooth that energy. And consequently, like 2 days later, she drove by my house, and she's living out of state now, and drove by my house and saw me outside and messaged me. And I asked her to come by. She was a little nervous, thought it might be a negative something. And I told her right as soon as she got there, I just wanted to tell you that I love you and I appreciate you. And I appreciate, I always called this relationship my soul crusher. And that was the story I'd talk, and I still do. It was my soul crushing relationship for myself. And but my stories were always revolved around that. And then the more they became about appreciation, the more I let go. And then I told her this, and I said, I appreciate and love the fact that it happened because it put me through all these things. And it was crazy because a couple of days later, I saw something or heard something. It was somewhere that she popped in my head. And instead of having the normal kind of feeling, I literally smiled. And when I smiled, I was so powerful that I recognized the fact that I had a new association with that relationship, having taken it to that forgiveness point, to saying, hey, this is where we were, this happened. Most people are always doing the best they can, and they don't know how to do different. We don't know how to do different sometimes. Yeah. And so when you allow it, to me, that's kind of forgiveness. Allow people to be where they are, understand that most of us operate under control of this brain body programming that we've developed as children until we decide to really get into our areas of opportunity with integrity and with vulnerability and say, this is where I am. Now I can take steps forward.
Thank you for sharing that. And that leads us nicely as into by me. Yeah. So by me, I make life happen. The posture is creator. And so the triangle is coach, creator, and challenger, which you've just explained really well. And the experience is curiosity and appreciation. We love that word, appreciation. Yeah. The beliefs are problems are here for me to learn from. I created the problem so I can solve it. And the key question, what can I learn? Or questions, and what do I want to create, which you asked me at the beginning when I told you I was sitting in my feelings. And then the beliefs is personal empowerment, define your wants and desires. So learning more about yourself, digging deeper, expanding. The word acceptance is so important to me, accepting where I am. And I love that you use that instead of, well, I use it as well with when we talk about forgiveness, when people only understand the forgiveness word, then I explain the acceptance bit. So then we did the through me. I'll just recap on the through me. So through me, I cooperate with life happening. Posture is co-creator. Experience is allowing flow, wonder, and awe. And then the beliefs, I am the source of all meaning I experience. Things are perfect, whole, and complete. Life handles all apparent problems. And the key question is what wants to happen through me? Beliefs, non-attachment, unlimited possibility, plenty of everything. Okay. Now, as me, aspirations, all right? My aspirations. Posture, at one with all. I'm going to repeat that, at one with all. Experience, peace and spaciousness. That's what I want, peace and spaciousness. All right. Beliefs, there is just oneness. There are no problems and no one to solve them. Key question: no more questions, just knowingness. All right. Benefits: experience oneness and non-dualism, unlimited freedom and peace. That's what I want.
Yeah. Yeah. That what I was kind of trying to write down some notes here is to say things to touch on, because I think the at one with all, that's the biggest thing, you know. And what does that really mean? Like that means no more judgment, right? And I was thinking about it yesterday, where I could eliminate judgment from my life, because I had it was just a small judgment. Like oftentimes we see people and they behave in a certain way, and then we're like, what, oh my God, why would you even do that? You know, and that's just dumb. You know, we might have those kind of feelings, but that's judgment, right? As opposed to, because it can be little things. The way somebody drives their car, right? There is an area of opportunity for me that has been getting better for decades, but my response behind the wheel to other people, because I'll digress here and say that generally the only reason we get irritated with other people is because they behave in a way that isn't us. Like I say, you know, a partner, a wife, or says something to a husband, or a husband says something to a wife, and then they don't respond the way they wanted them to, and they get all upset. It's not because the person responded wrong. It's just because they behaved as themselves, right? They just behaved in a different way. Like somebody's driving and they do something I wouldn't do, and I get irritated. It's just because if I was driving their car, I would have done it this way. And since they didn't do it that way, now I'm irritated. And that's just, you know, we're all from different perspectives. We all behave differently. And so that one with all really is, that's allowing everything, and that's allowing every human being. And there's some human beings that do some things, right, that we really, that aren't nice, so we can't condone. But being the acceptance but the allowance of it to flow, and that everything is happening exactly as it needs to be. And I think that, I personally believe, you know, we do see the world as we are. And the more that we truly accept ourselves, this is one of the thoughts I had. The things that we see in other people are true. I think the biggest thing that we can come to is realizing that we have the capacity within us to be that person. And I think a lot of the responses come from the fear. You know, am I afraid that I'm going to be a murderer? No. Do I think as a human animal that I have the capacity to kill people? Sure. Right. So that's kind of an extreme example, but I think everything that we fear, everything that we see that we dislike, we have some kind of representation. We have the capacity as a human being. We have the capacity to do whatever any human being does. And I think once we deal with those things in ourselves, then we start to see the world different. I don't think we'll see as much pain and trauma and hurt in the world if we get ourselves, especially if everybody's doing it together. Sorry, that was kind of a rant there, but
no, that's okay. I'm getting messages as we're
what do we got?
I don't know, because I'm on somebody else's. I'm on Steve's Facebook, so I'm going to go into my own.
Okay.
And let's see. All right. Okay. I think my messages are coming in on another platform, so I'll leave those for now. I thought they'll be on the Facebook platform. So you said there was other things that you wanted to talk about. So spaciousness. I said to you, I want peace and spaciousness, and it is about, you know, that being restricted and constricted in the space that you're in, you know, and you want to express, and then often going in, but you want to express outwardly. That's where I think it's you know what I mean? That's what I want to, it's like, don't know how to explain it. That's, you know what I mean? It's like you're going inwards to create space for yourself, but you also want to experience the space outwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, from within outwards. And so where you're restricted because of what's going on outside, that's where the conflict, that's it, conflict comes in. Yeah, that's it.
It comes in, but it doesn't have to, right?
Yeah.
Because there's still a way to find spaciousness. Because in light of my late arrival, you did a meditation. Now, at any moment, in any time, every human, we did a meditation together once, remember, and then create a picture game. And the fact of the matter is that no matter what we're ever experiencing, we can step away for 30 seconds, close our eyes, focus on our breathing, create a picture of something that feels amazing, something that we truly appreciate, really get into that space, create that energy within ourselves, and step back out a different person to the world, right? So even though we see the conflict of what we're feeling versus what we're seeing, I mean, maybe we're still seeing what we're seeing because, we're experiencing that. We can't control the outside world, right? Only onto it. So you can still create the spaciousness within until the rest outside arrives.
So I'm so glad, because you know how we're connected, and you started talking about the meditation that we did, that you did for me, and how powerful I felt, and the imagery that came into my mind. And so I was gonna ask you and invite you, so when we are closing the session, to close out with a meditation for everybody to experience you. But before we do that, I wanted to say, I wanted to say that I really appreciate you. So Greg is my soul brother. So when I have thoughts that I want to unpack, he is one of my stops, or the people that I connect with. And what I'm going to say is, going forward, but this is not going to be the only time that we're together on this space. We did have a vision of doing a whole group of us, the collective perspectives. Yeah. And so going forward, this is what I want to bring into this space. So Greg will be back along with maybe some others of our Bali family. And so they'll be coming on individually, but then we're going to come on together, how much we can fit on the little screens together, right? So I want to say how much I appreciate you for who you are and how you show up and our journey. And I always remember in Bali, I wanted to share this in Bali, when you first turned up, when we were in the first apartment before we went to the villa, and then you turned up like, yeah, let's go, dive, you stripped off, dive into the pool, we're all looking at you like, yeah, that's the Greg we know from screen. And then you took us on this journey to go and find some real authentic food. Remember, we were walking through Bali in the middle of the night, and what we experienced then, and finding I don't know what you'd call it, the food court or whatever it was, and we experienced authentic food there, and then we came back, and then it was an amazing experience. And what I really want to share is how you empowered me, how everybody empowered me. But do you remember the time we were going on that trek up the mountain? And I was deciding that maybe I can't, I was asked, can you do that trek? Can you do that journey? And I remember you and Graham and Mark and saying to me, you can do this, we will hold you, and I remember you saying, I will carry you, and I'm like, no. Remember that. And just from you guys really supporting me, and at one point, because I pushed through that pain, I was leading at one point. When we got to the top, I felt so accomplished. I felt so empowered, and I just want to say thank you to you and the rest of the Bali family for pushing me to a point and allowing me to see my potential. And I'm going to post up I'm going to pull those pictures up where I'm out on the top with all the sweat marks that I made it.
all of us were. It was a pretty hot day, But, you know, the one thing I always encourage people to remember too is we have times when the outside world is powerfully reinforcing and powerfully supportive and gives us what we need in that moment.
Mm.
But it's so, so, so important. Like if I have a client and they say, oh, thank you for that, or thank you for this, or thank you for that, I always say, now go to the mirror and say thank you. Because we offer things and we give things, but until you said, fuck this, I've got this, I'm doing this. When you decided, you know, that's where you look in the mirror and you say, thank you, Complete, because good job. I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you for making that. Yeah. You know, and because in the end, clearly you could because you did. But even though you thought you couldn't. So all we did was give you words, and I offered you a piggyback ride for whatever part you couldn't make, you know. Better use this big body for something, you know.
And you know what I was thinking? I kept on saying to you, no. And I was thinking, was it? So I was thinking about it before this call because I was thinking, why? Why didn't I take that? Was it that I didn't trust myself? I was like for falling or being able to get on your back, or didn't I trust you? And it was like I didn't trust myself. And it's like, do you know what I mean?
You didn't. That's ultimately you didn't need to.
Mm.
Right?
Mm.
You didn't. It wasn't a matter of trusting. The matter of trusting yourself was not anything to do with me, not anything to do with anybody else. The matter was, could you make it? Did you trust and believe that this was meant for you? And let's run that scenario where you didn't make it. Right. So reality where you didn't make it, but you made it part way. You made it part way. It's not about what we don't do. It's about what we do. Right. We're talking. This whole thing was about taking steps. Sometimes we can't. You know, you can't run a marathon just because you decide to run a marathon. I mean, you can. Our bodies can do amazing things, but most people, you know, can't. So then we take steps. We run a mile first before we run, you know, 26. Then we run 2 miles. So, you know, that kind of goes along with the whole thing of never compare your beginning to somebody else's middle. You know, sometimes we can go the distance, and sometimes we can always go our distance. It's just not judge what that distance is and just allow it to be whatever it is, right? And you just happen to fucking make it, man.
I did.
It was good energy. It was good group energy, and you had it, and you connected, and you did it. So
yeah. Okay, so before we close out with your meditation, and you've disappeared again.
Because I want to connect to my ear pods. I can't hold my phone and do this meditation.
Okay.
My ear pods, I had connected to my computer, but I'm still here with you.
All right. So what I want to say is next week Thursday is July the 8th. So, and that's my birthday. And so I decided I will still broadcast and invite. So I'll be inviting some of the ladies. I'm going for afternoon tea. So I think the subject was going to be self-love, self-expression, doing what we want to do, and really enjoying life. So that's what I'm looking forward to for next week. So we're going to do the meditation with Greg, and we will end on that. And Greg, I look forward to being in this space again with you. Yeah.
Can you hear me okay through these ear pods? Is it crackling up at all, or is it good?
It's going. Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Was it better when I was holding my phone?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay,
it's good.
Perfect. Okay, so then before we go into the meditation, I was trying to think, since you're putting me on the spot here. Normally I would have a couple minutes to kind of think about, well, what would be the most powerful meditation to give? And what do you think about the pictures?
Love the pictures. Oh, Pam said thank you.
Okay, so then let's start with a little bit of explanation to that, in that our eyes don't see, our brain sees. Our eyes take in vibration, and our brain translates that into pictures, which is really quite interesting, because when you realize that you don't look the same to, I would love to know how I look like to other people, because how I look to myself is different than how I look to other people, most likely. But our brain is what sees this computer in this dark room, and because of that, we have anchors, right? Auditory anchors, visual anchors, that come up and create pictures. So you can hear a song, for instance, and you hear this song, and it transports you 10 years ago when you were on the beach, and you can see who you were with, and you can kind of sense and feel, the temperatures, and it brings up an energy and a smile, and it's all from hearing something. So this vibration comes in your ears, and it's an auditory anchor, and it can trigger your brain to create a picture, and it can create the emotion. So the key thing to this meditation I want everybody to remember is we'll take you on a little, just to try to make it a kind of quick experience to show you, since your brain doesn't know the difference between real and make-believe, right? You hear a song, you're not on the beach, but suddenly you feel like you're on the beach. Your brain doesn't know the difference between real and make-believe. What you think of, you can create that emotional state in your body. And so I would ask everybody, if you're really going to do this, to really do this, to let go and picture and follow kind of the steps that I give you. And let's knock this out. Okay, so everybody watching, please close your eyes. And let's start by getting into our body and connecting with our body. So I'd like to do just a few breaths, and we're going to do 4-count breaths. So we'll do 4 count in, 4 count out. So, or actually, let's do a 3-count box. 3 count in, 3 count hold, 3 count out, 3 count hold. And I will count off a couple, then I'll do a couple, and then I will ask you to just continue your breathing at your own pace. So first, everybody breathe out. And breathe in, 2, 3, and hold, 2, 3. Breathe out, 2, 3. Hold, 2, 3. Breathe in and hold, 2, 3. Breathe out and hold. Breathe in and hold. Breathe out and hold. And as you continue breathing at this pace, I'm going to ask you to make sure that you're breathing into your belly, focusing on your body, feeling your body, and noticing where you have tension in your body. As you breathe in, imagine light covering your body and going to those areas, maybe a bright white light. And as you breathe out, picture whatever color that stuck energy might feel like, kind of being washed out of your body. And maybe you can drop your shoulders a little bit more. Maybe you can let your eyebrows and your eyes relax a little bit more. And as you listen to the sound of my voice, I wonder if your entire body can relax and you can go just a bit deeper now. Being in this present moment, knowing that this is all that's happening in your life in this moment. Appreciating yourself for showing up, for participating. Appreciating yourself for climbing that mountain. And that's really so often the biggest step, is just to show up, to take that first step, to allow ourselves to sit in silence, listening, breathing, connecting with our body, relaxing deeper now and deeper still. And we talked about how the brain doesn't know the difference between real and make-believe. So the beauty here is that I know, and I wonder if there is a time that you can think of that made you feel empowered, like something that you did that was just really powerful, climbing a mountain, climbing a hill, giving a public speech, or you can think of something that made you super happy. I know there's something that can come to mind for you. And if you have that moment, what I would encourage you to do, I would ask you, and we can't answer this individually, so this will be just in your mind. Are you seeing that picture of that event through your own eyes? Or are you seeing it? Are you watching yourself in that moment? So if I'm climbing the hill, am I looking through my own eyes as I climb that hill? Or am I watching myself like a movie climbing that hill? And what I would suggest is that we can play with how we view and how we want to view. So we can take another deep breath, connect with our body, and then go back into that moment. And in that moment, if you can look through your own eyes and it feels better and it feels more connected, then do that. And I wonder if you're with anyone else in this moment, if you can see their happiness, or you can see their gratitude, or you can see how proud they are of accomplishing something, or if you can see yourself and how bold you stand and how powerful you stand. And as you get into that and take a deep breath and really get deep into that event, notice where you feel the energy in your body. Notice where it is. For me, I feel it in my chest and I feel it spinning. So notice that energy. And with a deep breath, I want you to focus not on the picture, I want you to focus on the feeling of the energy. And if you focus on the energy, where we place our attention is where we place our energy. And I want you to imagine spinning that faster and faster. So it might be growing from your chest or from your stomach or from your total body, and it's filling your entire body. Spin it, pulse it, whatever movement it's making. Spin it faster and faster to where you feel that energy coming out of your entire body, filling the entire room that you're in. And notice how it feels. Do you have tingles in your body? How is your body warm? Are you smiling? If you're not smiling, can you allow yourself to smile? And focus on that energy and notice that all it takes is to think about a time when you felt amazing, when you felt powerful. And then you realize that your thoughts create the pictures and your pictures create the energy, and you can locate that energy. And when you locate that energy and focus on that energy, you can grow that energy and make it fill your entire body. And that's so powerful to understand. Because what this means is that no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, you can step away for just a moment and close your eyes and think of a time when. So you may be getting ready to do a speech or public speaking, and you pause and you think of a time when you fucking crushed it, when you owned it, when you attacked and just did your best, and it was so powerful, and you can feel what that feels like, and you can spin that bigger, and then you walk on that stage, then you give that presentation. Or maybe it's time to have a tough conversation with a loved one. And I wonder if you can think of a time when you were at your best, when you had an open heart, when you were the best listener you've ever been, when you were accepting and allowing, and you can have a conversation, and you can picture what it's like to be in that energy, so that when you have that conversation with a loved one, even if it's a tough conversation, you're bringing the best you, you're bringing the calm you, you're bringing the loving you, you're bringing the still you. And sometimes it's just time to get excited. But how powerful it is to know. I call this often my blessing and my curse, because I show people this technique and it's so simple. But now that you know, you know. So now that you know, to avoid it would be ignorance. But the truth is, it's so empowering. No matter what you're facing at any point in time, you can close your eyes, think of a time when you felt, and then enter any word into that space that you want. When you felt happy, when you felt empowered, when you felt calm, when you felt loving, when you felt compassionate. And how powerful that is to know that we have that power, that our brain doesn't know the difference between us creating an image and actually, quote, seeing the image. So we can pull up those memories, we can spin that energy, and we can use it for our highest purpose and for the improvement of ourselves and everyone around us. So as you take another breath with me, come back into your body. Feel that beautiful feeling that you just had. Focus on it for just a moment. And in a moment, I'll have you open your eyes, but not yet. Because when you do open your eyes, you can bring with you that feeling, or any feeling that you want, any feeling that you choose. But when you open your eyes, you can have an overwhelming sense of peace, an unexpected smile on your face. And I always say you can smile as soon as right now. The choice is yours. And the choice often comes from the thoughts we think, the pictures we create, and the energy that we spin in our body. And how powerful it is to know that we have control of that energy. So take another deep breath. Bring yourself back into your body with a sense of empowered love, happiness, joy. As we open our eyes in 3, 2, 1.
Thank you.
Yes, I hope that was good for everyone.
That's good.
It's kind of a short, it's kind of a little bit of a shorter version, so I do adjust on the move, but
very powerful, very powerful. Thank you so much. Wishing you a blissful day, because what time is it there now?
4:42.
Okay, so thank you for being here. And again, those of you who are watching or will watch on the replay, my daughter's on, so she's like saying thank you, she enjoyed it. I wanted her to experience some meditation by you. So back in this space next week. Not sure how, because I say to you it's my birthday, so we'll be in that space of celebration. And I appreciate you again, Greg, and I appreciate all the people who are watching. And I look forward to seeing you again. Yeah?
I love you, man.
Okay, don't go just yet. I'm going to come out of the studio and, yep. All right, so namaste.
Namaste.